Insider built the list of the 10 types of jobs that will most likely be replaced by AI in the coming future. And this is talking specifically about generative AI. So it's things like ChatGPT and things like that. So very interesting list. We can read through them and see what roles they believe will be affected or at least replaced the most by these generative AI types of platforms. But in these we've had a lot of conversations and a lot of discussion around ChatGPT taking jobs and there not being jobs or the job market being affected and more jobs being replaced due to these platforms. And we've actually had like big organizations like IBM announce legitimate plans to replace roles in that way. And so let's see what these roles actually are. This will give us an idea, and maybe it's right, maybe it's not. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Obviously, the title of the article, ChatGPT may be coming for our jobs. Here are the 10 roles that AI is most likely to replace. And we'll go ahead and jump down and get started here. Since its release in November of last year, OpenAI's ChatGPT has been used to write cover letters, create children's books, and even help students cheat on their essays. The chatbot may be more powerful than we ever imagined. Google found that in theory, the search engine would hire the bot as an entry-level coder if it interviewed at the company. Amazon employees who tested ChatGPT said it does a very good job of answering customer support questions, is great at making training documents, and is very strong at answering queries around corporate strategy. Companies are taking notice, and here we go. Both IBM and British telecommunications giant BT Group cited AI when announcing job cuts and saying that many wouldn't come back. See, that's very interesting. While a 2013 University of Oxford study found that 47% of U.S. jobs could be eliminated by AI over the next 20 years, that prediction appears to have been off base. A recent Goldman Sachs study found that generative AI tools could, in fact, impact 300 million full-time jobs worldwide, which could lead to a significant disruption in the market. And that's probably because back in 2013, no one even had any idea of what generative AI actually was. And they had no idea that this was coming. They've even had that one expert that we read an article on that said that generative AI kind of came out of nowhere, and most of the conversations around AI was talking about actual artificial intelligence. Generative AI is a completely separate thing all in of itself. Still, Anu Madgavkar, a partner at the McKinsey Global Institute, said that human judgment needs to be applied to these technologies to avoid error and bias. She told Insider users of ChatGPT also found that the bot can generate misinformation, incorrectly answering coding problems, and produce errors in basic math. We have to think about these things as productivity-enhancing tools as opposed to complete replacements, Gavkar said. Insider talked to experts and conducted research to compile a list of jobs that are at highest risk for replacement by AI. I couldn't agree with this statement more. It's productivity enhancing tools, which doesn't mean that it won't affect jobs. It will definitely affect jobs, but not in ways that people think. This is not going to be a flat out replacement. Like, you're not going to be completely replaced by a robot. As far as it's going to be, I believe, a matter where most companies will, it won't be that companies will actually be firing mass layoffs or anything like that outside of, maybe IBM. I don't know what their plans are with that, but a lot of organizations that have talked about bringing in generative AI and starting to implement it into their process or into their systems have talked about how it's going to more or less be a situation where there's going to be less hiring going on for those roles. They're not going to hire as many people, and that's where the cuts are actually going to take place. So obviously, first up, they say one of the first jobs they list is tech jobs. This is coders, computer programmers, software engineers, and data analysis or data analysts. Coding and computing programming are in demand skills, but it's possible that ChatGPT and similar AI tools may fill in some of the gaps in the near future. We've already seen this happening. There's a lot of companies. This is actually one of the specific areas of employment that have been listed by multiple companies, IBM included, where they are going to utilize the tool in a way that they're not going to be hiring as many of these roles in the future. Now, what has been noted, especially, and I was talking about in a previous video, there was a YouTuber that created a video who had no skills whatsoever in computer programming, in coding, or anything, and used ChatGPT in an attempt to create a video game from scratch, like some simple software type of game on your computer, and was able to make it to a certain point. But then at one point, the code that ChatGPT was producing stopped working. It wasn't doing exactly what he needed it to do, and because of his lack of skill in that area and lack of complete knowledge, he could not get the correct prompt to cause ChatGPT to fix the code. He basically hit a wall and said, I can go no further because ChatGPT can't figure this out, and I'm not a computer programmer. So what it proved was that you still need someone at the helm of the software that's knowledgeable and can can create code and understand code for themselves. It's not like just any person off the street with no knowledge can actually jump in there and do amazing things. You still have to have someone who understands what it is they're looking for and how to look for it. And so this is where that person said earlier in the article, it's productivity enhancing tools. There still is a need for an expert at the helm, but there's going to be less of those jobs because now you'll have one person maybe able to do 3, 4, 5 people's jobs versus actually having to hire 5 separate roles to do anything. So tech jobs such as software developers, web developers, computer programmers, coders, and data scientists are pretty amenable to AI technologies displacing more of their work. That's because AI like ChatGPT is good at crunching numbers with relative accuracy. So I totally believe in that, and I totally think that is one of the jobs that we will see, disappear over time. As far as like it'll have massive cuts, massive loss in employment or loss in employees seeking. They're not going to need as many as they think, and who knows? I mean, some of these companies may wind up laying off people. If they can get this thing to work the way it does. I just don't know of any formal announcement yet of people actually getting laid off or fired due to ChatGPT taking their job. But yeah, it says tech companies like ChatGPT makers OpenAI are already considering replacing software engineers with AI. That would make sense, especially coming from the guys who created it. So the next thing is media jobs, advertising, content creation, technical writing, and journalism. Media jobs across the board, including those in advertising, technical writing, journalism, and any role that involves content creation, may be affected by ChatGPT and similar forms of AI, Madgavkar said. That's because AI is able to read, write, and understand text-based data well, she added. Analyzing and interpreting vast amounts of language-based data and information is a skill that you'd expect generative AI technologies to ramp up on. Economist Paul Krugman said in a New York Times op-ed that ChatGPT may be able to do tasks like reporting and writing more efficiently than humans. I believe that. I mean, I was able to create documents. I even created content, at least the baseline of content using ChatGPT, scripted out a video, was able to edit certain parts of it and realized that you could genuinely script out videos, script out articles, all this kind of stuff, script out letters, documents. So anything that involves writing, it's way faster at, and you don't even need things like Grammarly or any of these things to do spell checks or reword things to make it sound more intelligent. You can tell ChatGPT to write an article at any kind of grade level or even university grade level, and I haven't really done the research to really see if it's genuine, that it's true that it's at that level. But when I read it, it sounded way more intelligent than the way I could have written it. So that definitely becomes an issue where it's like I could see advertising, content creation, technical writing, journalism, any kind of job where they're doing mass content creation being affected in that same way. And then we'll jump into the next one here. So legal industry jobs, paralegals, legal assistants. Hopefully not lawyers, because we've already seen one situation where the lawyer tried to trust it, and we have a whole nother video on AI hallucinations. You should check that one out. Talking about the lawyer in, I think it was a New York City based law firm that is in very hot water because they tried to use ChatGPT to create and cite other cases, and it wound up hallucinating and citing multiple cases that never even existed. And the guy presented them in court, and he's wishing very much so that he didn't do that. But paralegals and legal assistants, I could see that happening. Generative AI may most likely affect legal workers in the U.S., a recent Goldman Sachs report found. That's because the number of jobs in legal services is relatively small to begin with, and have already been highly exposed to AI automation before the advent of new AI tools. Yes, that's true, because now you have these websites that you could go to, and I've used them before, that companies can actually pay a small fee and get a freshly drafted legal document, such as a contract or any kind of legal document where there's an exchange of goods or a rental, things like that. And now ChatGPT has the ability to draft that document for you. I've used it before to do this, and it's very well written, and it's pretty solid when it does it. So, and it's free. And so, for instance, I went in there and I basically fed it the parameters of what I needed the contract to say, and I asked it to draw up a contract that would protect us legally with these parameters, and it drafted out a contract fresh there that all I had to do was copy and paste, and I was able to copy and paste it in there, change the names, and boom, I was ready to go. It's a pretty legit document. So like media roles, jobs in the legal industry such as paralegals and legal assistants are responsible for consuming large amounts of information, synthesizing what they learned, then making it digestible through a legal brief or opinion. Language-oriented roles like these are susceptible to automation. The data is actually quite structured, very language-oriented, and therefore quite amendable to generative AI, she added. So yeah, that's also another piece of it too. The ability to actually copy and paste legal documents into ChatGPT and then say, hey, can you explain what this is saying in layman's terms? That is something that I actually haven't had to use myself. I haven't tested that yet, but it's something that is very likely generative AI will be able to do and do very well. But again, AI won't fully be able to automate these jobs, since it requires a degree of human judgment to understand what a client or employer wants. Yes, I think so far on this list, I think I agree with everything that Insider is listing as potential jobs that AI will definitely affect. But once again, I do think it's going to be a period of over time where they will be hiring less and less staff for these jobs, because they will have they will be utilizing ChatGPT as a productivity enhancing tool. Totally agree with that. So the next one is market research analysts. AI is good at analyzing data and predicting outcomes. Muro said that is why market research analysts may be susceptible to AI-driven change. Market research analysts are responsible for collecting data, identifying trends within that data, and then using what they found to design an effective marketing campaign or decide where to place advertising. Those are things that we're now seeing that AI could handle. So I could see that. I once again, though, I think that this will still be, even if you have AI doing that, I think that's going to be more of a productivity tool, and you're still going to need someone behind it to interpret the data. And I think that how many jobs are actually replaced in this field will be determined on a case-by-case basis of how many analysts that they need to collect data at a certain speed, because only one person can sift through whatever ChatGPT is finding. So that might, I don't know. That one I don't know if I agree with, but I also don't have that much knowledge in that area to know what that would actually look like on a day-by-day basis. Their next one is teachers. All right, let's see what they're saying about that, because right off the bat, I don't know if I agree with that. But teachers across the country are worried about students using ChatGPT to cheat on their homework. But according to Peng Cheng Shi, an associate dean in the Department of Computing and Information Sciences at Rochester Institute of Technology, they should also be thinking about their job security. ChatGPT can easily teach classes already. This Yeah, this I don't, yeah, because although it has bugs and inaccuracies in terms of knowledge, this can be easily improved, he said. Basically, you just need to train the chat GPT. Now, there's the AI hallucination. Whoa, there we go. Hey, my computer does that. Sorry. The AI hallucinations that they're having, that thing needs to be fixed before this even becomes a reality. And we read an article where an expert within the organization itself, OpenAI, admitted that the things that they were doing to try and fix the hallucination aspect of AI, they're not even sure if it's actually going to fix it. So it's basically them admitting that essentially at this point they're not really sure if they can fix it, which may be a serious hindrance to the tool. And so to believe that teachers could potentially be replaced, in my personal opinion, I don't think that's happening. Real quick, guys, if you could take the time to like the video, that would be greatly appreciated. Liking the video helps it with the algorithm, and it really helps us get out there in front of people, and more people. It pushes the video out to more and more people. So thank you for that engagement if you're doing that. But also let me know in the comment section below if you agree with this, teachers. I don't know if I agree with this one solely based on the hallucination aspect of the AI. They've got to fix that if they even can. We're still waiting to see if they can. It's kind of quieted down since the debacle with the lawyer in New York City, but they need to fix that piece of it very fast if they think that it's ever going to have a chance of teaching students. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. But they say, but Shannon Ahiran, a high school math and science teacher who uses ChatGPT to do things like lesson planning, told Insider she's not worried she'll be replaced by the tech. Yeah. I don't think that's gonna be it. Okay, finance jobs, financial analysts, personal financial advisors. Like market research analysts, financial analysts, personal financial advisors, and other jobs in personal finance that require manipulating significant amounts of numerical data can be affected by AI. Miro, the researcher at the Brookings Institute, said AI can identify trends in the market, highlight what investments in a portfolio are doing better and worse, and communicate all that, and then use various other forms of data to by say a financial company to forecast a better investment mix. Once again, I don't know. I think that's a stretch. The only reason I think that's a stretch is tied back to the AI hallucination aspect. I think there's people that will do that most certainly, but I can tell you personally, on a personal note, there is no way I would ever trust AI to pick out, especially generative AI like ChatGPT, what stocks or what portfolio I should build for my personal investment, knowing what I know, knowing about the hallucination aspect of the tool itself. I don't think it's there yet. I mean, I think it could, most likely, I believe it could select some good choices, and I think it could be good in some areas, but that little inside voice in the back of my mind would always be reminding me that there's a potential that this thing is completely hallucinating what it's telling me to do. And so this one says traders. Experts say ChatGPT could upend jobs across a range of Wall Street industries from trading to investment banking. It's going to automate select tasks that knowledge workers are engaged in today so that they can focus on higher value tasks, Dylan Roberts, a partner at KPMG, told Insider. Peng Cheng Shi, a dean at the Rochester Institute of Technology's Computer Science Department, once again, agrees that certain Wall Street roles could be in jeopardy. At an investment bank, people are hired out of college and spend 2-3 years to work like robots and do Excel modeling. You can get AI to do that. So yeah, I mean, potentially, I think once again, it's still going to have people that are using the tool itself, its productivity enhancement, so they're not going to need to hire as many as they would in the past if they embrace it. That's a very, very risque company or type of business to utilize AI in, and it's all going to be dependent upon the willingness to embrace it. So I think in the beginning, it'll start off more experimental until they can prove its reliability. Once the reliability is proven, you'll see it really take off. And then another one is graphic designers. In a December Harvard Business Review post, 3 professors pointed to DALL-E, an AI tool that can generate images in seconds, as a potential disruptor of the graphic design industry. Upskilling millions of people in their ability to create and manipulate images will have a profound impact on the economy. They wrote, adding that these recent advances in AI will surely usher in a period of hardship and economic pain for some whose jobs are directly impacted and who find it hard to adapt. But Dr. Carl Benedict Frey, an economist at Oxford University, told Insider that AI tools like ChatGPT may actually help workers in creative industries like art and graphic design produce higher quality work. Frey said he is more concerned about how the tech will impact wages. In my view, it's less about automation, he said. It's more about democratization and competition, potentially leading to lower wages for people in some of these professions. Yeah, I could see that, because essentially when it becomes easier for the work to be done, you can spit out more in less amount of time. That will also affect the willingness of people to pay for services such as that, when you'll inevitably find someone on Fiverr or Upwork, I think it's what it's called, services like that, where you can go on there and hire a graphic designer to do some basic graphics for you, and their willingness to do it cheaper than the other guy, because that person specifically is using generative AI tools to create it and is basically just a prompt expert. And if I had someone like that, I would be willing to pay them, just because they basically understand the prompts and can spew out the design in seconds. The only thing, and I don't know this, and the reason why I don't know this is because I haven't used our generative AI art tools. So maybe you could let me know in the comment section below. Can the generative AI tool, is there one out there that once it creates an image, does it then have the ability to manipulate the same image and make changes to it? And that would be the question. I don't know if it can do that yet. Maybe it can. If it can't do that, then that whole idea of graphic designers, I think, is way off base. I think that there's not much of a tool there for them to use. If you can do that, like if it spews out an image, can you then tell it to say, hey, take that image and make changes to the color, make changes to the shape, make changes to blah, and see if it can do it again. If it can do that, then it's way more intuitive than I thought, and this is a definite risk for graphic designers then. Let me know in the comment section below if anyone knows if you can do that. I just haven't used that tool for that specific purpose, so I don't know off the top of my head if that's a possibility. It says accountants. Accounting is generally viewed as a stable profession, but even employees in this industry could be at risk. Technology hasn't put everybody out of a job yet, but it does put some people out of a job. Brett Caraway, associate professor with the Institute of Communication, Culture, Information, and Technology at the University of Toronto, okay, word salad, said on Global News Radio 640 Toronto in January. Caraway added that intellectual labor in particular could be threatened. This could be lawyers, accountants. He said it is something new, and it will be interesting to see just how disruptive and painful it is to employment and politics. Lawyers, we've already experienced the ouchies in that one. I don't think that's I don't think it's capable. Accountants, yeah. Once again, it's your ability to trust it. No way on God's green earth am I trusting that right now for anything like that. Customer service agents, yes, absolutely. We're already seeing that happening. We're already seeing that happening on multiple bounds, and now that you have a generative AI tool that has the ability to have a legitimate conversation and have it well, especially for chatbots and things like that on websites, this is most definitely an area that will be affected. You've probably already experienced calling or chatting with a company's customer service and having a robot answer. ChatGPT and related technologies could continue this trend. Totally agree with that. A 2022 study from the tech research company Gartner predicted that chatbots will be the main customer service channel for roughly 25% of companies by 2027. If they can nail down some sort of technology that allows it to actually speak vocally over the phone, which I think they're getting very, very close to. You already have ChatGPT and its ability to have in-depth conversations with people and feel like you're talking to a real person. So once they get the vocal aspect down, you're going to see a lot of customer service jobs go by the wayside. And honestly, as long as it's smart and it can answer questions and do it in live time time, and because that's where the frustration comes when you call into a customer service phone line and you're talking to a robot, and it's very clear you're talking to a robot, and it does that little like typing noise in the background to make you feel like they're doing research. It drives me bonkers. Stuff like that, it becomes frustrating. But if you have a ChatGPT based customer service agent, and the vocal aspect of it is realistic enough to maybe to the point where you can tell it's a robot, but it's actually able to help you, it wouldn't bother me at all to go through that process. And I just think inevitably, still, even with that becoming a major thing, you would still have to request to be transferred to a human agent in certain cases. It's not going to replace everything, but like I said, I still think it definitely fits into the flow of less and less customer service agents being hired over time. Well, and that's it. That was their list of the 10 jobs that they believe are 10 working industries that will be most affected by generative AI. What do you guys think in the comment section below? Do you think that this is accurate? Do you think that there's other ones that they haven't listed? I really want to know. Thank you for taking the time to hang out and stay this long on the video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. It really helps the channel, and we really appreciate it. Thank you guys for all the engagement and growth that we're seeing. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one.